Hi guys, good evening. This is Jess and Becky, and I am doing her fill slash 30-day manicure, just pushing it back towards the end here, and then I'm going to be doing a fun nail art design. And I haven't been on this week, so I wanted to make sure I got on and said hi to you guys and showed you something different. So we're going to do a fade underneath one of the Mermaid shifters, so you guys can see what you can do with giving a cool effect by doing the art underneath it. So I'm going to try to get this as good and centered as I can. I can't, since I started filming this direction on my phone, I can't read any of the questions, so Becky's husband is going to try to see if he can get logged in, and that way you guys can ask questions. But I believe Jessica White's gonna log in, and if she can answer any questions for you, she will do so. I will answer them if you guys leave them and don't get them answered later. Okay, so what I'm using right now is natural. It is what I use 90% of the time, especially with nails this long. It's really good, really strong. It's my favorite. There is some bubbles in it right now because I am like scraping the bottom of my jar. So it doesn't matter, I'm covering them up anyway. Just barely touching it and then floating down over the nail, and it's going to self-level nicely, so there's going to be no finish filing. You can look down the barrel here and see that it's not super thick. It's hard to focus, sorry. You can see that it's keeping it nice and thin, and she's got a nice natural arch to her nail, and so these are all nice and thin application, and she goes 4 to 6 weeks without breaks most of the time, and comes up. So as you can see, the line of light though, we've got a good application, and we're not, you don't want to see a bunch of waves. You want to see that shine going down the nail and being relatively smooth, and that way you know that you're going to get a good finish on the nail. Alright, so I'm just double checking these, and then I'm going to go in the light, and then we're going to start with our ombre. And it's still go right there. Alright, go on in. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe my brush on my wipe. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Noir, and we are going to use Passion, and we're going to try to create an ombre with these two, and then we're going to probably use white, I'm thinking, for the stamp. Do you want the darker at the tip? So yeah. Pink to black? Okay. Alright, so we're going to use Noir at the tip. So I'm going to brush it on, and this is a 2-coat for black. I don't try to do it one thick coat. You don't want to overdo your black because light needs to see through it. You want to make sure it's curing really well. Alright. Okay, so once you get your first application, I typically go about halfway up the nail. I'm going to take my brush, and I don't really want anything on it. You want it to be relatively clean. And I'm just going to blend up, and this doesn't have to be perfect. I just don't want to have a sharp line. It'll make it easier when I go to blend the pink on top of it if there's no sharp line. And you can do wet on wet if you would prefer. I like wet on wet when I'm doing the vertical striping. It's really nice, but it's like impossible to do that technique going sideways without making a huge mess. So I do it this way, which is the typical way. There are some new brushes out that let you brush up. I haven't gotten to use them yet, but they're supposed to help with ombres. By having, basically, they look like this brush, but they have a lot of hairs kind of cut out of it. I haven't gotten to use that yet, but I will soon. it's a bit tricky to do a solid ombre and have it look perfect, but because we're covering it with the glitter shifter, it doesn't have to be perfect, and you're not going to be able to see the brush strokes because of that glitter shifter is going to be like your best friend. All right, go ahead and put that on in. And brush that off. I'd have Christmas music playing, but if someone's watching this video in the middle of May, they're going to be like, why is someone playing Christmas music? So we're just going to not play music. We're going to talk about what we want for Christmas. Becky, what do you want for Christmas?
Well, I'm getting my gift. I'm going to Maui.
Maui! Woohoo! That's why we're going to be doing some hibiscus flowers, even though it's a week from Christmas. We're going to be doing this pink and black with the fade and with glitter flowers. I am doing a class in Hawaii, or 2 classes in Hawaii in February. So if you're in Hawaii and looking to take a class, I'm going to be out there the weekend after Valentine's Day. So you can check my website for information on that class. If you're a nail tech who doesn't live in Hawaii and want a good excuse to go on vacation to Hawaii, come take a class and then you can write it off. That's the way we vacation for real. I would love to be going on the nail cruise in January. It's the first year that I'll have missed the nail cruise in a long time. But Zika's too... It's not good for anyone wanting to ever have a baby, so... All my friends going that don't want to have babies are going to have an awesome time. But we're going to try to do that again, so... And no Zika for us. Hawaii luckily doesn't have Zika. Greg, what do you want? Becky's husband's here. Greg, what do you want for Christmas? He just laughed. He wants Maui too. You guys are all getting what you want. You must have been very well behaved this year.
Sure.
Alright, so just blending this up so it disappears a little bit. Alright, go ahead and put that in. I'm going to do it again. Sorry guys, this is a little bit tedious, but I wanted to make sure you guys see how I make this happen. And one of the reasons I'm using Passion is we wanted something that's kind of a red pink, and Passion's kind of a nice bright pink, but it also is a little bit translucent, so it blends really nicely when you do ombres. It's one of those that are just really helpful. There's a couple of colors that have some translucency to them. When you're doing ombres, you want to, if you can, pick colors that either have a pearl to them or have a clear base, because those are going to blend the easiest for you. So when I blend white, if I'm doing like the baby boomer, I use Dreamy, which has a little bit of a pearl base, and it just blends a lot easier than something that's solid. Like this is solid, it's not going to blend as nicely. So that's one of the reasons that I do it first. So if I was doing it the opposite way, I would have started at the cuticle, but I still would have done the black first, because I want to use the one that's not going to blend as pretty first, because the next one's going to blend nicely. It behaves better, so I'm going to use that one second. So if you're using 2 colors and one is harder to blend than the other one, use the hard one first, and that way you can cover it up with the one that blends better. You can cover up the little brush strokes that aren't hiding. So there's my tip for the day. Hopefully that helps somebody. Use the hard one first. Even if you're blending from the cuticle first or the other colors from the cuticle first, that's fine. Paint from the cuticle down and pull down, but use the difficult color first. But yeah, so I do a lot of dark red fades, and that one, Diva, is really good because it's a clear base. Like I said, Passion's kind of a red pink. That one's a clear base, so that one blends nicely. If you want a darker blue, something like Captive has some shimmer to it. So does Desire. Desire is absolutely gorgeous. So I use Desire a lot for a red fade because it's a really gorgeous red. And it has a little bit of shimmer to it. I probably have it right here, actually. I have a sea of reds sitting next to me because there's no point to put them back on the shelf when I'm just going to grab them in a minute. Yeah, here it is. So this is Desire.
Pretty.
And it has just a little bit of, see that sparkle as it catches the light. Love that one. This one's really, really good to do ombres with. So if you're looking for a red that does a good ombre, that's a good one. And the sparkle's super pretty. Alright, get the second coat on there. Thanks for being patient, everyone. It's very important. Now you can kind of cheat with this if you do want to do your black in one coat. Nightfall is one of our newer blacks, and that one actually slightly off black. It's really close. It's really hard for me to tell the difference, but it is a little bit more solid with one coat than our Noir is. So you can definitely do that. I just find that it's harder to ombre with it because of it being more solid. This one's a little bit easier because it's less solid to blend. But if for some reason you're in a hurry or you want a black that's closer to one coat for under your Mermaid collection, then you can get away with using Nightfall and just doing one coat and then doing your Mermaid color on top of that. And that will give you a good solid black for the most part with one coat, easier than this one is, but it's a little harder to blend because it's so solid. The more solid something is, the harder it is to blend it, so having that little bit of clear to it is super helpful. So I did get a new light that I'm going to be installing so that these videos start being a little bit brighter for you guys. So, but please let me know if there's certain things you want to see so that I can do it. I need to get someone in here to do a sweater video. I'm hoping that someone next week will let me do it on them because it is really fun and really easy to do with our options colors or the Luxio colors and our 3D gel powder. So I will definitely be doing that on somebody next week. I will get a victim in the chair, I promise. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and use Passion. And like I said, it has a little bit of almost, you can see through it. So it's going to blend a little bit easier. And push that up towards cuticle and come down. So you guys can see just right there that it's see-through right there. So it's going to be easier to give you a good ombre. And it should have a really cool effect when we cover with those glitter shifters. I know some of you are just like, I just want to see the end. A lot of my clients come in and go, oh, I catch you when you're live, but then I just want to fast forward and I can't. So for all of you that are watching that are clients, I'm sorry. I can't go any faster than I'm already going. Alright, got a little bit on the skin right here, so I'm just going to wipe that out with my orange wood stick. Orange wood sticks are super essential. I do have them on my web store. I realized that since I redid my web store, I didn't have them on there. So they're back on there. Thank you, Rachel, for pointing that out, that they were missing. So again, I'm just going to blend these down just so it disappears. Just using the very corner of my brush and pulling down. And very lightly touching and pulling, touching and pulling. Just so that there's no sharp line. Okay, switch. So this coat's going to go a little faster because we're not dealing with a solid, and so it blends way faster than the super solids. What did I just drop? Oh, the lid. That's fine. Pick it up later. As long as I drop the gel. Good. So again, this is Luxio Passion. Really good at Christmas time for people that want more of a pinky red. It's kind of definitely more of a pink to it than your standard red. It's almost like a hot pink in a way. But it's good at Valentine's Day. If you're looking for some gels for Valentine's Day, this is a really good one if you're doing ombres with pink, because it lets you blend over like a lighter pink and give a really beautiful look. So if you're looking for some getting ready for Valentine's Day, it's always annoying when it's like, you know, 2 weeks before and people start asking for something and they're like, oh, I probably should have thought of that at Christmas. So there you go. If you need one for doing ombres with your pinks Valentine's Day, this is your color. Appropriately titled Passion. My husband gets off the hook since we're flying to Hawaii on Valentine's Day. He doesn't have to take me out, but I expect some really excellent chocolate on that plane. Alright, switch. Alright, second coat, and then we can glitter shift it. You don't have to worry about putting this on too thick. I know with a lot of gel polishes, if you put it on too thick, you're gonna get wrinkles because it has to dry and cure at the same time. Luxio is 100% gel. There's no polish in it, so it doesn't have to dry. It only is gonna cure. So you're never gonna have any of the wrinkling problems. So as you can see, I'm putting a little bit thicker of a coat on this time because I wanna get a little bit more coverage than what I had with the first coat. So just brush it on as thin or thick as you want, obviously, but you're never going to have a problem with Luxio wrinkling because it doesn't have that drying factor. If your gel smells like nail polish, you've got to be more careful with that. Luxio doesn't smell like nail polish. There's no nail polish in it, so you're not going to have anything that has to dry, so you're not going to have that wrinkling problem. Just fuzz. Blending down. Okay, good. Almost there. Glitter shifter time. People upstairs making lots of noise. Sound like they're coming through the ceiling a little bit. Okay. Grab your brush, blend, 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 and then I always just wipe my brush real quick between blending action because otherwise you end up just keep transferring it. So blend, blend, blend. If you're blending on the horizontal blend that I did for that fall design, then you don't have to wipe it. It actually is helpful to have it on there, but for this kind of a blend, it's not so helpful. All right, so this, my friends, is Tidal Teal, and it looks white in the jar. It's a gel play glitter shifter, but it is going to be so fun. It's like magic. All right. Oops, nail in the jar. Okay. You don't want to put too much on your brush or it's going to completely cover your color because it's really, really very solid glitter. But there we go. It has this really cool effect to it. So as you can see, you're not going to see any brush strokes through this, so it's really forgiving when you cover up your color with one of these glitter shifters. What you doing, pumpkin? Yeah. My daughter just came in to beg for a drink. Did you guys see her nails? I think I Instagrammed them. She's got 10 different Christmas nails on.
They're really cute.
They're really cute, yeah. I told her she was my canvas, so I could just tell people, like, okay, pick 2. Because when I'm doing the, you know, hand-painted stuff in a normal appointment time, depending on what it is, I can do 2 or 4, but I can't do a full set of hand-painted work in a normal appointment time. So she got the full set, and then it just lets people pick. And that works pretty well. Alright, so again, I'm kind of putting it on and pushing down with my brush as I pull down. See, I'm letting it flare really well because I'm pulling it off as I apply it. I don't want too much on there. I don't want to cover up the pink where you're not going to see it. I still want to be able to see that it's an ombre. So depending on how you're going to catch it from the light, you're going to see it on the red and then going all the way down to the teal. So it's pretty cool. Okay, I'll stop doing that. All right. And then we're going to stamp hibiscus flowers on them. What color do you want to stamp them in?
Oh, I don't know.
White's going to pop the most. But I also have a silver that will pop if you want to do something like that. Or even, I mean, you could go crazy. You could do them in like yellow if you want. Decisions. Should take a vote. What color do you guys think? It's kind of a cool combination.
Yeah.
It's neat. Wouldn't have thought of it. I love when my clients come up with fun ideas. I think someone had a suggestion, but I can't see it. Alright, very cool. So that's the Tidal Teal over Passion and Black. Looks like I bumped that one. It's neat because if you look at it when the light's not reflecting, all you see is the ombre, and then when the light hits it, you see the shift. That's the glitter. Alright, so when I do a stamp, I typically will buff it, because if you don't, your stamper will sometimes slide on the surface of the gel, and then you end up with a fuzzy stamp. Also, you can't really stamp on the tacky layer of gel, again, or it'll smudge, it won't look as good. So I have learned that even though it takes an extra few seconds, hitting it with a quick block will, and you obviously don't want to do much because you don't want to take away her shifter, but hitting it with a quick block will make it so that your stamp doesn't slide, so it's sharp, and then also, of course, your top gloss is still going to be able to stick to it, because it's, you know, when you remove your tacky, it's a shiny nail, so you want to do that. Alright, so pretty good. There's still a little tiny bit of tacky, but that's totally fine. So, she got out one of my new planners from Uber Chic. I'm thinking about carrying these so that you guys can pick them up when you order gel, because they are really fun. I've heard sometimes people don't realize that this glue has to come off, and I see reviews sometimes on places, the stamper didn't work, and then they don't realize that they have been putting it on the blue. Alright, so what do you think?
Probably white that'll show up, yeah.
White would be good. Alright, white it is. And I'm going to use my handy dandy Holland America card. And I'm going to get something prepped here. This is just for speed. I know that you can use the the sticky thing, but with this particular stamper, I like cleaning it off onto a wipe that has a little bit of acetone on it the best. It just works super well. My stamper's not clean though. Hold on. Hold the process. Alright, perfect. Check that out. It's so cute. Awesome. Alright, so that. I think I need to be going sideways with this one. So I'm going to spin it around. Because I want the hibiscus to look different on each nail. Pretty. Every couple I'm going to wipe my plate. You'll see how nice and crisp those lines are, guys. It's part stamper and part using the I'm using the Conad polish, which I really like. And then these are really good deep plates. I really like them. That's why, like I said, I'm considering carrying them for you guys. It's just a big process to become a distributor, but if you guys want them, I will bring them. Isn't that cool? Those are gonna be awesome. Do you like it, Becky?
Love it.
Alright, good, awesome, full coverage. Alright, and I'm going to top gloss this so you guys can see how it looks finished. And I'll let you go enjoy your Friday night. I hope everyone's going to have a fun weekend. We're going to go to the Lights at Christmas this weekend, which is up outside of Seattle. It's this camp that they get millions of Christmas lights and turn it into this really cool kind of retreat thing. I guess not a retreat. What's the best word to call it? Did you take your kids to Lights Christmas when you lived here?
No, we never made it out.
You never did it.
No.
Becky doesn't live here anymore. She lives out in San Francisco, so I see her about once every 4 to 6 weeks. Well, out San Jose. It's out there. It's California. But she still comes back. I love her. We love her. Her husband's in the other room playing with Larissa. She babysat for me my first trip to Europe, so I could take off. I'm one of those crazy moms that I was like, okay, yeah, I'm good. She's 1.5 years. I can go for a week, no problem. Alright, and just double checking this so we get top coat over a little bit. Alright guys, so that's what this looks like. I'll do a final picture after it gets cleaned up and show you guys how this turned out. But there you go, stamping with some fun new glitter shifters on an ombre. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you guys later. Bye.